Well, let's talk cameras. Now you see it. Now you don't. Okay, now you see it again. Wait, let's switch to don't. Man, what an intro. So a sibling of mine just purchased a camera a few weeks ago. If you watch any of my video, you would have seen that I've been shooting B-roll shots with this camera. That's if you actually watch these videos. Anyways, let's talk about this camera. The Canon EOS 1100D or Rebel T3, however you wanna call it, is a very small and light DSLR camera with an all plastic build and only weighs about 500 grams. For an entry-level DSLR camera, it does have a very solid build quality. If you watch any of my videos, you know this is the point where I usually talk about the history of the thingy, but since you guys don't watch anyways, I won't do that today.
A few moments later.
It has a narrow hand grip that is very uncomfortable, especially if you have big hands like I do, which is not helped by the smooth glossy finish that doesn't aid your grip. After using it for many photo shoots, I have found that my hands start to feel cramped. This camera is compatible with Canon's entire lineup of lenses, but EFS lenses must be aligned with the white dot, while EF with the red. The zoom is adjustable with this wheel and the focus with this wheel at the front. All the important controls are located at the right hand side of the back of the camera. There are more buttons on top and one in front. We have a fixed LCD screen and the viewfinder in the rear, a pop-up flash on the top and a microphone mount, a place to plug our mic, USB cable and HDMI cable input. On the bottom we have a slot to insert the SD card and the battery and the hole to mount the tripod. There's a built-in speaker at the back and a built-in mic at the front. Okay, I'll now tell you what all these buttons do. Let's start in front. This button here allows us to release the lock on the lenses so that we can switch or pack it in our bag. This button is the shutter button for taking shots if pushed all the way, and also for autofocus if you push it halfway. This button allows you to do adjustments like scrolling fast through the gallery or messing with volume. This button lets you pop up the flash. This is to switch the camera on and off. This is the dial modes button. I'll talk about this in the next section. On the viewfinder we have a scroll wheel for adjusting focus modes, I think. This is for zooming into pictures. This can be used for deleting. This button helps you switch between viewfinder and the LCD screen and also helps you start and stop video recording. This is quick settings. This helps change what is displayed on the screen. The arrow keys help with adjusting ISO, AF and WB and also navigating. The menu is for settings. This here is for the gallery. Okay, let's talk about the dials. There are two zones for the dials, creative zone and basic zone. Let's start with creative zone. A depth, auto depth of field. The camera automatically selects the apertures and shutter speed to keep most of the image in focus. M, manual. The camera lets you choose the aperture and shutter speed. AV, the aperture priority. The camera lets you choose the aperture value and then automatically adjust shutter speed. TV, shutter speed priority. You set the shutter speed, then the camera sets the aperture. P, program AE. The camera sets for you the aperture and the shutter combination, and you can change between these combinations. This is what we have for the basic zones. Full auto, represented by the green square. Completely automatic shooting, creative auto. This is for beginners to tweak the picture quality on their own without needing to understand complex things like ISO levels. No flash, all automatic with no flash, self-explanatory. Portrait, the camera creates a more shallow depth of field. Landscape, for shooting landscapes and sunsets. Close-ups, for shooting objects close to the camera. Sport, for capturing fast-moving objects. Night portrait, for slow shutter so that the picture is illuminated with the surrounding light or flashlight. So how's the image quality? One thing I find interesting is that how you don't have to have the highest megapixels to produce good images. The bigger the lenses, the better the images. It's as simple as that. This camera is a 12 megapixel and can take pictures like this. I've seen phones with 108 megapixel that can't even touch this quality. This camera produces images at ISO 100 to 1600, all noise free. The image stabilization works well in low light conditions and also in the telephoto zoom, which can allow you to take really sharp images. The built-in flash worked well with no red eye when shot indoors or outdoors. The JPEG files have an average file size of about 5 megabytes, and it depends on whether you choose the fine or normal picture mode. The pictures can come out very soft, maybe a trace of the 12 megapixels, but that's a good thing because if you're a beginner, these pictures would look great, and if you're a pro, you would probably want to further edit the pictures anyways. These are how the different picture controls look. Well, this is how video mode is, as you have seen it before, but also note how the built-in speaker sounds. So out of the bag, it comes with this belt, which is really helpful in giving you some protection in case of damage. Then we have this thingamajig for charging the battery. And also we have the lenses protective thingamabob. Yeah. Okay, let me give you the specs. Many of you guys won't know what any of these things mean, but for those who do, they will appreciate it. Okay, this camera can mount an EF and an EFS lens. It has a CMOS APS-C 33.3x 14x7mm sensor at 12.2 effective megapixels and ISO 100 to 64,000. It has a 9 autofocus point and 14 exposure modes. It has flash bracketing with 13-meter ISO 100 guide number. It has a focal plane shutter with 3 frames per second for 840 JPEG frames. It has ±3 stops in 1 stop increments for white balancing bracketing, and it was made in Taiwan. And many of you guys only knew what the last part meant. So that's what the Canon EOS 1100D has to offer, and I would recommend you to buy it. It's a cheap entry-level camera that has all the features you're looking for, so you can start your YouTube, your film, or your Instagram career. It came out in 2011, but it still holds up today. So buy it. Take it from me. Subscribe and you will see more of these types of videos in the future, and also like the video so I can make more of these camera reviews. Okay, thanks for watching.